Hello, how are you? Today, María Corina Machado, the moral leader of the Venezuelan opposition, met at the Vatican with Pope Leo XIII. The Pope treated María Corina with the respect and affection she deserves. If Venezuela were a free country, María Corina would certainly be the president. Not only did the Pope receive María Corina warmly, but also Cardinal Pietro Parolin, who knows her very well because he was apostolic nuncio in Caracas during the years when Chavez was still dictator. The Pope reportedly offered María Corina to be a mediator between her and the new Venezuelan dictator Rodríguez. María Corina will fly very soon, if she's not doing so already, here to America, because next Thursday she will meet at the White House with President Trump. The meeting is not without certain risks. With Trump, you never know. The fear is that Trump might be too cold with María Corina. On one hand, that's why a group of Republican senators, that is, Trump's allies, are pressuring the president to recognize María Corina, but also Edmundo González Urrutia as the legitimate government of Venezuela, a government that more than 7 million Venezuelans elected on July 28, 2024. Let's hope those Republican senators convince Trump that María Corina is not a solitary voice lost in the world, without support or respect in Venezuela, as Trump described her on the very day Maduro was captured. Let's hope they convince him that María Corina is, in real terms, the president of Venezuela. She didn't win the elections. Edmundo González Urrutia won them because the dictatorship prohibited María Corina from being the candidate. But then the real president of Venezuela, María Corina, is going to meet with a Mr. Trump who says he is the acting president of Venezuela. Of course, Trump says this in a provocative or joking tone, but I'm not sure it's helpful for Trump to say that he is now the acting president of Venezuela. The other fear is that María Corina might go overboard or exceed herself in this idea of giving Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. It's one thing to dedicate it to him, and another thing for María Corina to say, "The Norwegians made a mistake giving it to me. Now I correct that error. Trump deserved it more than I did, and I hand over the Nobel Peace Prize to Trump." And the Norwegians, who are understandably alarmed, have said that María Corina must not do that. That once the Nobel is received, it is not revocable, not correctable. It is a distinction, an honor for life. Furthermore, even if Trump gets angry, María Corina deserves the Nobel much more than he does, and the Norwegians did very well to give it to María Corina and not to Trump. I am still living a mild honeymoon with Trump in gratitude for Maduro's capture. My wife Sylvia is too. But neither Sylvia nor I forget that Trump incited his fanatics to invade the capital in January 2021. And now, last year, as soon as he was sworn in as president for the second time, he pardoned, amnestied, forgave those vandals, those thugs, those fanatics, and released more than 16 of them from prison. I don't know if Trump has clean credentials to win the Nobel Peace Prize someday. I have serious doubts. María Corina deserved it much more than Trump, and she should not hand over the Nobel Peace Prize to Trump. These are the dangers, right? That Trump be cold with María Corina, and that María Corina be too affectionate with Trump. I understand that María Corina wants to enjoy Trump's favor and therefore his protection. I understand, but there are limits, and I don't think it's appropriate for María Corina to snub the Norwegians who gave her the Nobel Peace Prize, because furthermore, the Nobel was given to her and by extension to all the Venezuelans who have supported her, millions in exile and in their country of origin, right? Let's see how it goes for María Corina. Let's hope well. Very well. Let's hope that Edmundo González Urrutia is also at the White House on Thursday. Trump should invite him. It doesn't correspond. It's not fair for him to snub Edmundo once more, Edmundo who is in Madrid. No. Meanwhile, it has become known that Delcy Rodríguez is desperate for Trump to receive her at the White House. Trump, on the presidential plane today, said kind things about Delcy. He said that Delcy is cooperating, that she's behaving very well, that she's doing everything they ask of her. and it cannot be ruled out that in the coming days, Trump will receive, probably after receiving María Corina, Delcy Rodríguez. Delcy has sent a delegation to Washington, D.C. to facilitate or encourage that meeting with Trump. A delegation headed by the Venezuelan ambassador to London, Felix Platencia, and also including Ramon Maniglia and Andrea Corrao. It has been surprising and even hilarious to see the foul-mouthed thug Diosdado Cabello, who had disappeared. Some people thought, myself included, that perhaps he had already fled into exile. It's been amusing to see Cabello saying that he is in favor of reopening the Venezuelan embassy in Washington, just as he applauds that the United States reopen its embassy in Caracas. Cabello said that it's very important for Venezuela to have a functioning embassy in Washington, D.C. in order to be close to Maduro and to take care of Maduro's health. What a joke, right? Finally, and now I'm wrapping up, the New York Times published a very long and very interesting report explaining why the skies of Venezuela, Venezuelan airspace, at midnight on January 2nd, early morning of the 3rd, were absolutely open to United States aircraft and helicopters and were completely vulnerable. It was believed, or at least the Venezuelan dictatorship boasted of it, that they possessed Russian defense systems purchased by Chavez in 2009 that cost billions of dollars. These are anti-aircraft defense systems called the S-300s, right? So when Chavez bought them, spending a fortune, and surely they stole another fortune along the way, he said that no aircraft could ever enter Venezuela again because it would be shot down by the Russian S-300 systems. However, more than 150 aircraft entered on January 3rd, and I believe 12 or 15 helicopters entered carrying the Delta Force, and not a single Russian S-300 missile was fired. Why? Because all of Venezuela's anti-aircraft defense is broken, and what wasn't broken was previously destroyed by the United States. But above all, the New York Times explains, those Russian defense systems are damaged, they're ruined. They needed maintenance from the Russians. But the Russians in the last 4 years have been busy invading Ukraine, massacring Ukrainians. Therefore, the Russian S-300 anti-aircraft defense systems in Venezuela didn't work and won't work because the Russians haven't given them maintenance and haven't repaired them in time. This is today's news. To conclude, I remind you that this Saturday, January 17th, and this Sunday, January 18th, Alejandro Cardona will give his monthly seminar, Creating Wealth. He's been giving it for many years now. You can attend this seminar digitally via the internet from anywhere in the world. The seminar begins at 9 a.m., both this Saturday and the following Sunday, and Alejandro will explain to you how to invest in the New York Stock Exchange. He has a method. He will describe his method, explain the benefits of his method, and teach you how to make money on Wall Street, on the New York Stock Exchange. Creating Wealth Seminar this Saturday and Sunday, January 17th and 18th. There's still time to reserve a spot. I wish you much luck. We continue tomorrow.